Many Wild Rift players actually don't know where to place their wards or don't even use them in the first place, and it's definitely losing them games. Hello Summoners, my name is Nathan Ng, and welcome back to another ProGuides Wild Rift video. Today, we'll be showing you guys the best wards to place while playing Wild Rift so you can go ahead and win more games. We'll be going through the list role by role, starting with support. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. When it comes to warding, a lot of people think it's solely the support's job to build up vision around the map. Supports don't need farm, they can freely roam the map, assist their team, and go ahead and place wards everywhere. Well, that's actually not true. You see, in Wild Rift, players can only use a trinket to place wards. There is no item that is able to charge wards or to restore them when they're entering the fountain, unlike other MOBAs like the PC version of League. If you want to have good vision control in your game, the entire team has to work together as a unit and place wards. When you are laning as a support, your main objective is to keep your dragon laner alive. Vision helps you do that. Really good neutral wards in the laning phases are, for example, wards in the river brush next to the dragon lane or a little bit deeper into the river, covering the enemy's jungle exit. These wards provide you with a lot of safety early on, being able to spot junglers moving through the river, coming in to gank, or trying to sneak in a dragon. Even better, if you have pressure in the lane and are allowed to place wards in the enemy territory, try to either ward the enemy jungle exit covering the blast cone, or even deeper, revealing the enemy blue and gromp. Place a second ward over the wall to prevent getting caught in the process. Your main objective is to reveal the two camps. Therefore, it's unnecessary to place a ward in the brush right next to the blue buff. After placing wards like these, even the best jungler won't be able to gank you, since you're able to spot him coming to your lane a mile away. In the rare occasion that you're forced to play the lane defensively or you have to live in fear that the enemy Zed could roam to your lane and kill you, place a ward in the tri-brush. This is a very defensive ward, covering a part of your river as well as parts of your jungle. It'll prevent you from getting flanked during laning phase. When playing Dragon is on the top side of the map, most of your wards stay the same. You're still able to use the river brush and get a lot of value out of them. The only real thing that changes is that the wards at your blue buff and your jungle exit turn from aggressive to defensive, and the wards in the tri-brush turning from defensive to offensive. Transitioning from laning phase to mid-game, you want to build up vision around important objectives and spot the enemy rotating. An important rule when it comes to warding is that you always want to place the wards as far away from your own base and as close to the enemy base as possible, while staying safe. This enables you to see the enemy approaching an objective and gives you the opportunity to make better decisions based on that knowledge. Here are the best ward spots when wanting to contest objectives in the mid-game. Remember that the map is mirrored. If you find yourself on the other side of the map, you want to use the red buff jungle wards to contest a dragon and the blue buff wards to fight over Baron. Late game wards look very similar to the one shown before, only adding a couple more near the enemy's base. These wards are very aggressive and should only be used if you're able to place them safely and have enough pressure to make use of them. Make sure not to get caught off guard by the enemy for a ward. Before we continue with the rest of the video, here's our question of the day. What's your favorite off-meta pick and why? I really like playing Singe from time to time. It's always nice being chased. No one does that in real life. But unlike Singed and me, I don't think I'm very toxic. I don't know. Make sure to let us know your answers in the comments down below. Next up is the Dragon Laner. As a Dragon Laner, your main goal when talking about warding is to assist your support in setting up good vision around and in your lane. You just don't want to use your wards in the same spots as your support. Do not stack trinkets. If your support is warding the river brush, don't use yours at the same time. Either save it, place it defensively in your tri-brush, or use it in a lane to spot enemies in lane brushes and get control over that area. Lane wards are very good against champions like Lux, Blitzcrank, or Alistar. These champions want to catch you off guard, and warding a brush on the side lane prevents them from doing so. When playing an aggressive lane, try to place one neutral and one aggressive ward. In the neutral lane state, you want to have the river dragon lane entrances covered, and when you're forced to play under your turret, go for the one defensive ward near the river and a super defensive ward in your jungle. This spots even the sneakiest mid laner rotating through your jungle towards your lane. Once the laning phase is over and you rotate across the map, use your trinkets to build up vision around the most important objectives. Make sure to never push the enemy territory for vision without having the backup of your team or knowing the enemy's position. A lot of Dragon laners get caught when farming side lanes in the mid to late game. Placing defensive vision will prevent this from happening, so don't push too far up for a couple of minions or you will end up as free food for the enemy's assassins and you'll probably miss out on the CS anyway. When it comes to solo queue, many players use their wards in weird spots or don't even use them in the first place. As a jungler, you have the ability to set up vision across the entire map. Since you are permanently roaming, placing defensive vision is an easy way to protect your laners from dying and your jungle from getting invaded. Place a couple of defensive wards and ping approaching enemies. This will keep your enemies from dying and will win you a lot of games in the long run. Junglers can also abuse the sweeping lens. This item is able to reveal wards so you can destroy them. Did you know that destroying wards also grants you gold and XP? Pretty cool, right? As soon as you know where the enemy places their wards, you can go ahead and destroy them and make them live in fear of getting ganked. The sweeping lens has a lower cooldown than the warding totem, giving you the opportunity to destroy a lot of wards each and every game. Here's a pro tip for you guys. Combine the two warding concepts. Before you swap to sweeping lens, leave your team 1 or 2 trinket wards on the map, protecting them from the possible ganks. Your role as a jungler in the mid to late game is to remove as much vision as possible from the map. Look for the enemy wards, destroy them, and help your team build up vision by being there as backup. You also want to activate your sweeping lens when approaching objectives and walking through territory that could be warded. The sweeping lens disables wards and the enemies won't be able to approach you from the objective. Be aware though, as you attack the ward, it'll provide vision once again. Guys, remember to check out our ProGuides Wild Rift Discord in the description down below. We've built an awesome community over there. You can look for people to play with, talk strategy, champion balance, or anything related to Wild Rift and more. Let's go ahead and talk about the mid lane. Warding as a mid laner is pretty tricky, since you have to cover twice as many entrances compared to the side lanes. Mid laners want to build up vision on one side of the map and play towards the other side. Never go for a ward in the brushes next to the mid lane. Rather, place a ward in one of these locations. They provide even more information and are a perfect foundation for mid lane vision. If you want to build on top of that and place more aggressive wards, make your way towards the enemy jungle and ward the raptor camp or the brush to the left of the wolves and the blue buff. Remember that you always want to play towards one side in the laning phase. Avoid randomly walking around to place wards. When playing from behind or wanting to stay safe, you need to have a defensive ward default around these locations. Warding in these locations gives you the ability to see the enemy team entering your jungle or trying to come mid. After the laning phase is over and you transition back to the mid game, you want to build up vision in the jungle. Here's a quick reminder of where to ward when you're trying to contest objectives. Placing wards as a Baron laner is really similar to the Dragon lane. Your main priority is to stay safe and spot the enemy jungler. Here are a couple of common spots for warding in the Baron lane. As long as you're utilizing these spots, you are guaranteed to have the best gank protection the entire game. In the mid game, things are starting to get interesting. Baron laners usually want to split push or catch the incoming side lanes. After a couple of turrets have fallen, you want to ensure your safety when pushing out the side lanes. Always have at least one ward to give you cover. These are the common wards to place when split pushing. Never walk straight up into the enemy territory. Always approach from the fog of war with great care and place the wards in brushes from the safe angle. Place them over walls and around corners. A very strong ward split pusher can go ahead and abuse the so-called lane ward. It is usually placed in the brush right next to the tier 2 turrets in the side lanes. This ward has potential to reveal enemies that are out of position and lets you capitalize on their macro mistakes. Imagine that you see an ADC walking over to the ward on the dragon side of the map while you're trying to have a standoff at Baron. Knowing that the enemy is missing one member, you can safely engage the fight, win it, and then secure the objective. So, let's recap what we've learned today. Warding in Wild Rift is a team effort. One single champion is not able to build up vision on the entire map. Communicate with your team to figure out where to place wards next and try to set up objectives by warding around them. Never push up to the enemy territory without backup or the knowledge that no one is there when you're going for wards. This can get you killed very easily and you don't want to lose the game over a ward on the enemy's raptors. Additionally, when playing the jungle, provide your team with defensive vision, clear the wards, and go ahead and catch the enemies off guard. Split pushers have the ability to go for the cheesy wards that, in turn, have the ability to open up plays on the other side of the map. Your number one priority when placing vision in Wild Rift is to stay safe and prevent you and your teammates from dying. The secondary priority is to catch the enemies off guard, spot bad rotations, and capitalize on those mistakes. Good warding is definitely going to elevate your game to the next level. It opens up a lot of plays, denies the enemy opportunities, and gives you the potential to carry games not only through raw damage, but through calculated decisions and knowledge. That wraps up today's video showing you the best wards that you should place in your games. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Nathan Ng, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you answer our question of the day in the comments down below, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.